I'm not a preacher. I'm not a prophet. I'm just a janitor from Portland, Maine, who died for a few minutes and saw something that changed everything. But I know what I saw was real. I know Jesus is real. I know what he showed me is going to happen. November 15th, 16th, and 17th of 2025 are almost here. The countdown has already started. These events, the red sky, the glowing water, the shaking buildings, the speaking mountains, they're not far away. They're right around the corner. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. After I tell you all this, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to dismiss it as the ramblings of a crazy person? Are you going to read this and then go back to your normal life like nothing happened? Or are you going to take it seriously and prepare your heart for what's coming? My name is Zuriel Constantine, and I'm 34 years old. I live in Portland, Maine, where the ocean meets the sky and the winters are cold enough to freeze your thoughts. I work as a janitor at the Portland Public Library, cleaning floors and shelves while people walk past me like I'm invisible. But 3 days ago, on October 28th, 2025, God made me visible in a way I never expected. I need to tell you what happened to me. I need to tell you what's coming. It was a Tuesday evening. I remember because Tuesdays are when I clean the third floor, where they keep the old books that smell like dust and forgotten memories. I was pushing my cleaning cart down the empty hallway when my chest started hurting. Not like when you eat too fast, but like someone was squeezing my heart with both hands. I dropped my mop. It clattered on the floor and the sound echoed through the empty building. I tried to call out for help, but my voice wouldn't work. My legs gave out and I fell against the bookshelf. Books tumbled down around me as I slid to the floor. The pain got worse. I couldn't breathe. I thought about my mom back in Jamaica, how she would be sad if I died alone in a library. I thought about my cat, Whiskers, waiting for me at home. Then everything went black, but I didn't stay in the darkness. Suddenly, I was floating up like a balloon someone let go of. I looked down and saw my body lying there on the floor, books scattered all around me. My uniform was dirty from the cleaning. My hands were still rough from scrubbing, but I wasn't in pain anymore. I kept going up, through the ceiling, through the roof, up into the night sky. Portland got smaller and smaller below me. I could see the whole city, then the whole state, then the whole country. Then I wasn't looking at Earth anymore. I was standing in a place that was so bright it should have hurt my eyes, but it didn't. The ground under my feet looked like it was made of light, solid but glowing. When I looked up, I saw beings that I knew were angels. They were tall, taller than any person I'd ever seen, and they shined like the sun. Then I heard someone walking toward me. When I turned around, I knew immediately who it was. Jesus. Not like in the pictures at church, but real. More real than anything I'd ever seen in my life. His eyes looked at me, and I felt like he could see every thought I'd ever had, every mistake I'd made, every time I'd been mean to someone or told a lie. But instead of being angry, he loved me. I could feel his love like warm sunshine on my face. He smiled at me and told me to stand up. I didn't even realize I had fallen to my knees. He explained that my time on earth wasn't finished yet, but he had brought me here to see something important. He said I needed to go back and warn people about what was coming in November 2025. Then the space around us changed. It was like standing inside a giant window where I could see things happening far away. He showed me a huge scroll, ancient and golden, hanging in the air. Angels stood around it, and as they opened it, light poured out. The light showed me what was going to happen. He showed me America first. The date November 15th appeared in my mind like someone had written it there. In New York City, I saw the sky turning red. Not like sunset red, but deep crimson, like blood mixed with fire. It spread across the whole northeastern part of America, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, all of it. People came out of their buildings and offices, pointing up at the sky. Some people were scared. Others were taking pictures with their phones. News reporters were trying to explain it, saying it was something about the atmosphere or the sun, but I knew the truth. This was God showing himself. But then I saw something else. In Tennessee, on November 16th, the ground started shaking. Not like an earthquake that destroys buildings, but a shaking that made people stop and pay attention. In Nashville, people ran out of the Grand Ole Opry, and right there in the street, they fell on their knees and started crying. They were asking God to forgive them for the things they'd done wrong. He explained to me that when these things start happening, people need to go to churches. Not the big fancy ones with famous preachers, but small ones where people really pray. He said people should gather in their homes with their families and pray together. That's where they'll be safe. not safe from the shaking, but safe in their hearts. Then the scroll opened more, and I saw India. The date November 15th burned in my mind, the same day as America, but happening in their time zone. In Mumbai, I saw the ocean doing something strange. The water pulled back from the shore, way back, further than anyone had ever seen. Fish flopped on the sand that used to be underwater. People walked out to look at it, confused and scared. Then the water came rushing back, not as a dangerous wave, but glowing. The water was glowing blue and gold, and when it touched people, they fell down and started speaking about Jesus. Hindus, Muslims, people who had never believed in Jesus before, suddenly knew he was real. Then, on November 17th in New Delhi, something else happened. The government buildings, the big important ones where the leaders work, started glowing. Not the buildings themselves, but it was like you could see through the walls. You could see what the people inside were really like. Some of them were shown to be good and honest, but others, their secrets were exposed. Money they had stolen, lies they had told, bad things they had done. It all became visible, like God was shining a light on the truth. He told me that in India, people need to go to the temples and pray. Not to their old gods, but to Jesus. He said even in Hindu temples, people would start calling on Jesus' name, and he would answer them. He said the Ganges River would become a place of healing during these days. The scroll unrolled further, showing me China. November 16th appeared. In Beijing, I saw something that made me gasp. The government buildings, the ones where the Communist Party leaders work, started shaking. Papers flew everywhere. Computer screens went black. And then the leaders themselves started seeing things. They saw visions of heaven and hell. Men who had never believed in God, who had spent their whole lives saying there was no God, suddenly saw Jesus standing in their offices. Some of them fell down and begged for mercy. Others ran away, terrified. Then, on November 17th in Shanghai, the factories stopped. All of them at the same time. The workers walked out into the streets, not because they were protesting, but because they heard singing. Invisible singing that filled the air. Thousands of people stood in the streets, looking up, listening to angels sing. And one by one, they started singing too, praising Jesus. He showed me that in China, people need to gather in their homes secretly. He said the government would try to stop what was happening, but they couldn't. He said believers should mark their doors with prayer, and his angels would protect them. He said the underground churches, the ones that meet in secret, would become the safest places. The last part of the scroll opened, showing me Canada. November 16th glowed in my mind. In Toronto, I saw the CN Tower, that big tall tower that everyone knows. It started glowing at night, brighter than all its lights. The glow was so bright you could see it from miles away. And in that light, people saw images. They saw their own lives played out like a movie. The good things they'd done, and the bad things they'd done. Thousands of people drove to the tower, got out of their cars, and started praying right there on the highway. Then, on November 17th in Vancouver, the mountains started speaking. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I saw. The mountains around the city echoed with a voice that said the same thing over and over. Prepare. Prepare, my son is coming soon. People heard it in English. French, Chinese, Punjabi. Everyone heard it in their own language. The whole city stopped. Everything just stopped as people listened to the mountains speak. He revealed to me that in Canada, people should go to the national parks, to the forests and mountains. He said his presence would be strong there, away from the cities. He said the wilderness would become a sanctuary for those who seek him. After showing me these 4 countries, he took me deeper into heaven. We walked through what looked like a court, a place where decisions were being made. I saw a massive book floating in the air, bigger than any book I'd ever seen. Angels were writing in it with pens that glowed like lightning. Every word they wrote sent ripples through the air, like dropping stones in water. One angel turned to me and explained that they were recording the names of everyone who would turn to Jesus during November 2025. The book was filling up fast. Pages and pages of names from every country on earth. The angel said this was the biggest harvest of souls since Jesus first walked the earth. I saw another scroll, this one silver and covered in stars. When they opened it, I saw weather patterns changing across the world. Storms forming in places that never have storms. Clear skies in places that are usually cloudy. The angel explained that even the weather would declare God's glory during these days, especially during those 3 days, the 15th, 16th, and 17th of November. Jesus put his hand on my shoulder and spoke to me again. He said that what I saw wasn't the end of the world, but the beginning of something new. He said these events in November 2025, particularly those 3 days, would wake people up. Some people would get angry and refuse to believe, but millions of others would finally understand that God is real and He loves them. He told me that young people, teenagers, and college students would be the ones who spread the message the fastest. He said they wouldn't be afraid to talk about what they'd seen and experienced. He said old religious leaders might try to stop them, but they couldn't because God Himself had chosen this generation. Then he said something that scared me and excited me at the same time. He said that by November 18, 2025, just 1 day after these events, the whole world would know beyond any doubt that He is real. Not because of preachers or churches or books, but because He would reveal Himself in ways that couldn't be denied or explained away. He showed me one last thing before sending me back. I saw families gathering together, praying together, holding hands around dinner tables and in living rooms. I saw neighbors who had ignored each other for years suddenly knocking on each other's doors, asking to pray together. I saw churches opening their doors 24 hours a day because so many people wanted to come in and learn about Jesus. Then He told me it was time to go back. I didn't want to leave. Heaven was so beautiful, so peaceful, so full of love. But He reminded me that I had work to do. He said people needed to hear this message so they could prepare their hearts. The journey back was fast and jarring. 1 second I was standing in that beautiful light, and the next second I was gasping for air on the library floor. My chest hurt. My head was pounding. Books were still scattered around me, but I was alive. I lay there for a few minutes, trying to catch my breath, trying to make sense of what had just happened. Was it real? Had I really seen heaven? Had I really talked to Jesus? Then I felt it, a warmth in my chest that wasn't there before. A certainty that what I'd seen was true, more true than anything else in my life. The visions weren't fading like dreams do. They were getting clearer, more detailed, like someone had carved them into my memory with a laser. I got up slowly, my legs shaky. I looked at the clock on the wall. Only 10 minutes had passed. 10 minutes that felt like hours. 10 minutes that changed everything. I'm telling you this because you need to know what's coming. November 15th, 16th, and 17th of 2025 are going to shake the world in ways we've never seen before. Not with destruction, but with truth. Not with fear, but with love. God is going to show Himself, and nobody will be able to ignore it or explain it away. Here's what you need to do. Get your heart right with God now. Don't wait until these things start happening. If you've been putting it off, if you've been saying, maybe later, or I'm too busy, now is the time. Tell Him you're sorry for the wrong things you've done. Ask Him to come into your life. It's that simple. Find a place to gather with other believers. Whether it's a church, a home, or just a group of friends who pray together, find your people. You're going to need them when things start happening. You'll need people who believe what you're seeing, who can pray with you and encourage you. Stock up on basic supplies. I'm not talking about building a bunker or anything crazy like that, but have enough food and water for a few weeks. Have flashlights and batteries. Not because the world is ending, but because when these events start, things might get chaotic for a while as people try to figure out what's happening. Tell people about Jesus now, before November. Don't wait. Your friends, your family, your co-workers, they need to know. They need to be ready. Some of them won't believe you, and that's okay. But some of them will listen, and that might make all the difference. Pay attention to the signs. When you see the red sky over America on November 15th, you'll know it's starting. When you hear about strange things happening in India, China, and Canada on the 16th and 17th, you'll know it's spreading. Don't be afraid. This is God keeping His promises. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a prophet. I'm just a janitor from Portland, Maine, who died for a few minutes and saw something that changed everything. But I know what I saw was real. I know Jesus is real. I know what He showed me is going to happen. November 15th, 16th, and 17th of 2025 are almost here. The countdown has already started. These events, the red sky, the glowing water, the shaking buildings, the speaking mountains, they're not far away. They're right around the corner. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. After I tell you all this, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to dismiss it as the ramblings of a crazy person? Are you going to read this and then go back to your normal life like nothing happened? Or are you going to take it seriously and prepare your heart for what's coming? I hope you choose to prepare. I hope you choose to believe, not in me, I'm nobody special, but in Jesus, who loved you enough to die for you. and who loves you enough to warn you about what's ahead. The world is about to change. November 15th, 16th, and 17th will be 3 days nobody forgets. And when it happens, when you see the red sky or hear about the glowing water or watch the news reports about strange things happening around the world, remember this: God is real, He loves you, and He's giving everyone one more chance to come home to Him. Don't waste it. This is Zuriel Constantine, janitor from Portland, Maine, telling you the truth about what I saw in heaven and what's coming to earth. May God protect you and prepare you for what's ahead. The time is short. The harvest is coming, and nothing will ever be the same.